We're back for another unboxing. It's been a long time, been all summer, but not as many fish get ordered, and we want to take a break. But we're back. Still haven't got the rubber bands out of the way. Ooh, multiple box. It's gonna make it harder. All right, here we go. First up, Basmati rainbows. Look good. You got the males with the blue and orange, and then the females are kind of drab. They will color up a bit, but they're looking good. Clearly you can tell boys and girls. People will be happy when they buy them in the store. Next up, reticulated hillstream loaches. These, I find they're making their way into every video I do because I recommend them for unheated tanks. I recommend them for algae. I recommend them for looking cool, nano tank, well not nano, but like 10 gallon and up tanks. Like they're just a great fish. So you'll probably hear more and more about them. Next up, a pinstripe Panac Pleco L204. I've got a rad one in my fish room that's actually gonna come back to the store. Used to live in the 800 gallon, but since we've changed that to goldfish, no longer really has a home where it's appreciated. So it's time to move it on to someone who will like a big one. Ooh, a little baby Fonka puffer. Now these guys aren't as personable as a Mabu puffer, but still pretty personable. Aggro levels like a medium. Sometimes they do great with other fish. Sometimes they don't at all. And so you gotta not teach, but figure out each one on what its individual temperament is. Yo-yo loaches, great little snail eater. They can get 6 to 8 inches though, and so they can get kind of big, but groups of 3 or more, ideally 6 or more would be optimal. They like to be warm to keep ick away. All right, move that bag, move the filler, move the, ooh, another heat pack down low, okay. What is this? Is this metal? Yeah, it's like a weird, it's not quite aluminum, maybe it is. I don't know, I've never seen that before. See, when the bags are half bags, they're not heavy enough just to pull up and lift and have the rubber band lift away. Is this numeral tuna or is this just still one? I think we call it one. Powder blue female gouramis. We only get the females because they're much less aggressive than the males that you typically see at PetSmart, Petco, that type of thing. And they still have great color, so we opt for good personality and good color. I don't know this guppy. Blue variegated guppy. See, that kind of looks weird to me. I'm not sure I would ever call that guppy blue. Like there's some purple in there, some magenta. There's definitely orange and red and pinks, but that's a stretch for blue. And that's what I hate about the fish industry in general is someone had to name that, and in their eyes, that looked blue. You guys tell me, is that blue? I think of more like blue Moscow guppy. Neolampologus multifasciatus, which is a shell dweller from Lake Tanganyika. They live in little shells and get nicknamed the bulldozer because they just move stuff around nonstop. Great fish that maxes out at about 2 inches. Great on a desktop tank. You can go with just a couple of them, or you can go with a whole colony. They're a colony spawner, which is cool. So basically add that group of 6 to 12 in a tank and they will just make more. Next up, we've got Apistogramma Super Red, or Apistogramma cacatoides Super Red. And so the Super Reds, what you'll notice here is all of the fins have that kind of flame pattern on them. So tail fin, dorsal fin, pectoral fins. Same fish as a double red, also same fish as Apistogramma cacatoides Orange Flash, which just has orange fins. And when you breed them, you can actually get all of those coming out. So you just sort them typically unless the line's been very set. Black Phantom Tetras. These are a great, they always display the males look good. So we sell quite a few of them. Usually we buy them in bigger quantities. And then last in this box, Cardinal Tetras. These are wild-caught Cardinal Tetras. Now, we've been talking a lot about wild-caught fish with the Peru series and all that, and people are deathly against it. I highly recommend spending time, research Product Piaba, research the Amazon Research Center, research just in general what the economic climate looks like if we don't buy some wild-caught. And briefly, There was a time in the industry where we never bought wild caught, and then the environment was getting destroyed around all the rivers where the fish come from because the people that live there still had to make money. Now we know it's the lesser of two evils. Buy some, get them to invest and keep the rivers healthy and work with it, and continually work to a more sustainable system. Now, it's not like buying wild caught is a good thing, it's just better than the bad thing. And over time, the goal is, what if these people that were catching them wild caught were breeding them in their house? And then we could buy those, right? So it's an evolution. And I think people like to live in extremes of either A, right, or wrong. I think we're on the path to something better slowly. It's definitely, there's not a lot of funding that goes on for Project Piaba. There's not a lot of education. In general, the internet or the populace as a whole, we just don't know much about it. And so we tend to side with wild caught is bad, which not in a sustainable way is definitely bad. But when we're trying to make something better, that would be seen as a good thing, I think. All right, we're queuing up box numero Tuno. All right, Tuno. It's been too long, Tuno. What do we have? Praecox Rainbows. This is the dwarf rainbow. Nice blue color. Males have the red on the fins, whereas females will have the yellow. So if you're ever in a store and you don't know how to sex them, look at the kind of the dorsal fin and just all their fins in general. If they have the red tint, male. Yellow tint, female. Real easy. Ooh, snail-pocalypse. So snail poopy. But great little, invertebrate to add to your tank. Great algae eater. Gets in the cracks and crevices. We've got golds. We've got, what do they call those? Black. I had to give it a cool name. I call those they're like brownish, not as cool looking. And mystery snail. The only reason we carry the blacks or the browns is because when kids buy them, that kind of stuff, or sometimes adults, they want to be able to tell who's who, and different colors helps that. Like, oh, Larry the brown snail's doing a thing. We've got rummy nose tetras here. And so you'll see on this bag that they say wild. These are also wild caught. Now, if I'm being 100% truthful, I have no idea if rummy nose are sustainably caught like the cardinal tetra. Because the cardinal tetra, there's so much publicity about it. But the rummy nose, for all I know, we're totally ruining the environment. I don't think that's the case, but I actually don't know that answer. Brigitae rasboras. Ooh, I'll bring up a good point here. So these are great little nanofish, but for a very, 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 very long time, these were only ever wild caught. And so on a bag like this, it just says Brigitae and 50. Well, these could be wild caught because so few were ever captive bred that there's no reason to distinguish between captive raised or bred, wild. So they just would not differentiate. So, a lot of that is they're choosing to include this information for someone like us to make a decision. These are exclamation point rasboras, I believe. Looks like they're stressed out so you don't see the exclamation point on the side. Also great nanofish. Froggies. Some of my favorite customers we ever had were frogs. Look at that guy. That guy's not good. He's got a fungused hand. I don't know if he's alive. We'll have to check that, unfortunately. No good. But the rest look to be frogging around. We'll get to that and see how it looks. All right, we gotta go deeper. And I was talking to Robert, he hates these things too. So if the place that ships us these, we hate these. This is just more stuff that we quasi don't know if we can recycle / what to do with it. Because in general, we try to recycle as much as we can. It's really hard to recycle the styrofoam boxes. We wish there was a place closer to recycle. We try to give them back to wholesalers and that kind of stuff. Usually, this is the old warehouse we're in right now, but usually we stack them up over there. We might be stacking them in the other old warehouse at the moment. But, there's only so many. If we get, of styro boxes, if we get 30 a week, between plants and all that kind of stuff, and maybe customers need 3, we end up with a big surplus. And that's, so I should say, that's what this company is doing as well. So this company that we buy fish from, they also are reusing the box. Like fish got shipped into them, probably from a different country, and that's why they're dealing with some of this packaging, and then they're reusing. So we commend them for that, for sure. We're just saying, if in anywhere in the line we can choose not to use this, it used to be wood, which is more biodegradable and just kind of easier to get rid of. Or if they want to let us know what type of metal that is, can we recycle it? Like, what's the deal with it? We'd appreciate that. All right, Corydoras stir-by. Great little fish. Recommend keeping 6 or more. Once these start spawning, they're really good. Is that guy derpy? They're just cold. So one thing you can see here, you see the condensation on the bag? The temperature of the bag is a little bit colder. I mean, not like crazy cold, right? Like if I had to guess, I would say they're like 65 degrees. They'll live through it and everything, but the outside with the heat packs and everything was probably more like, 75. So it causes condensation. More Black Phantom Tetras. Makes 50. We usually bring, the minimum we bring is 50 of something. A lot of people ask, like, why won't you buy 7 of these from me as a hobbyist? It's like, well, the meds and everything, what makes sense in our quarantine room is at least 50 of something, unless it's a very high dollar fish or we can't take care of it. So for instance, 50 of the pinstripe panox from the first box, we can't take care of that many, so we're limited. We can't do that. Geophagus savannae. I actually have never seen these grown up or anything, so right now they're real dull, but I bet you if we Google them, they look pretty good. That would be my guess. I've got Robert on the lookout for some geos for me, actually. Ooh, and pea puffers. I know people have been waiting. We've been sold out for a long time. This is also another fish that they don't tell us whether it is captive raised or wild caught, but about half the year they're wild caught and the other half the year they're captive raised. Usually when they're hard to get, when they come back in, they're captive raised, because wild caught are available more often, throughout the year. So set those off to the side. We've got 50 more cardinal tetras. Honestly, what's crazy about the cardinal tetras being wild, in my experience, the wild ones come in bigger and healthier than captive raised ones. And so, that there's part of that goes into the experience too, of like, if we buy captive raised ones and they're dying on customers, or we're getting some die off from the store and we're shipping around the world, that's got to weigh into what we're doing also. So long as each one is sustainable, right? Like if we use a nuclear reactor to make these cardinal tetras at home, that's not good, and if we destroy the environment to collect them in the wild, that's not good either. But yeah, these stir-by Corys, I think they were probably, my guess, because you notice how none of the other bags are doing it? My guess is they were keeping these at a hotter temperature at the wholesaler, and specifically when they went in, they created condensation between the 2 layers of bags. Because it's not uncommon, stir-bys are one of the Corydoras that can go pretty hot in like a discus tank and that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't be uncommon for them to keep them pretty warm. All right, I'm gonna repack this and we're gonna go to the next one. I just wanted to point out, as an employer, I think it's awesome, because I'm the owner, that we supply the drinks to both the retail store and the warehouse, and they're all free. We do a limit to 1 a day, because there's always that one guy or girl that like, you drink a whole shelf in a day? But nice cold water. We got Gatorade, we got Coke with cane sugar, we got cherry Pepsi, we got Fresca, we got Mountain Dew, we've got Sprite, we've got Canada Dry, we've got normal Coke, Crush, root beer. Someone brought tea in. I didn't buy that. I would though, but someone brought that in. We're set. I like that I can stop by, because I always want something to drink. The only thing we're missing here, typically my weapon of choice is Diet Coke, but it's just someone probably ejected it. We don't like the Diet Coke. All right, back to box number 3. No. Here we go. Ooh, these are for me. Once I get out of quarantine, Hyphen variatus. If you're local, don't steal all these. I told them I want at least 25, but not that one that's all gimpy. Well, that's not true. We'll nurse him back to health. He can come to my house. They're gonna live in a pond. I'm gonna breed them. I love the hyphens. I love when they get a lot of the black scale on them. So I think they're more like a I call them like the dragon scale version of it. So I've always loved this fish. I originally found it at PetSmart. They sell them for like $2. I think they might be up to $3 now. Great fish. Doesn't have to be heated that much. Can stay outside much longer. And I just think it's really pretty. Of all the fish I can get a hold of, I love that fish. Glow Light Danio Chorpre. Kind of a nice cool orange, middle to top level swimmer. Doesn't have to be heated very much. Not cheap though, they're like $4.50. Bag of noodles, Coolie Loaches. I think people would be surprised how many Coolie Loaches get sold on the daily at fish stores. Because I think people that don't know fish are just like derping around, like, yeah, there's a fish tank. What is that? The thing looks like a snake. And then every family has to buy them. Blue coral platies. I like this as well because I think they're crossed with Variatus to get this blue coral. They're not showing well in the bag because right now you're like, yeah, those look like crappy platies. Trust me, when the blue is popping on them with that orange, they look real good. So those might make it to my fish room in some capacity as well. What do we got here? Female guppies, 25. I'm sure there's more of those to come. Can't imagine we only ordered 25. Yep, called it. Alrighty. For those of you freaking out, those heat packs, it's very temporary. It's not gonna heat up the water. Don't worry, do it. Oh, come on. Open sesame. There we go. Next up, oh, it's a big bag. Oh, they're my fish. Brocus multiradiatus, not to be confused with multifasciatus, multiradiatus. These are, think of them like supersized corridoras that can hit 4 to 6 inches and get pretty beefy. I had ordered 12, they were down to 9, and you see they have a lot of carbon floating in there, and the water's milky. That's because they fear the toxins from corridoras. So these, you'll eventually see them, so long as they make it through quarantine and everything, in the 800-gallon aquarium. And eventually you'll see them in a video about where I talk about tank mates for goldfish, because I think a lot of people, know some standard ones, but they don't think about things like that, like the supersized corridoras. A lot of people keep small corridoras, and then goldfish choke on them. Silver tip tetras, 42. That is less than 50. But they look good. It's hard to complain. That's one thing is like, oh, I got shorted, but they look great. So you kind of just go, okay. If you only get half a slice of cheesecake, it's all right. Farlawallas, we haven't had those in a while. We haven't had in a long time, in case the wholesaler's listening. I want red lizard whiptail catfish again. Those things were amazing. Great little 10-gallon kind of nano Farlawalla type catfish. The red lizard cat, amazing. Oh, here we go. Now we have the contrast for you. Pistogramma cockatoides orange flash. See how all their fins are orange? Yeah, I've got some of these in my fish room right now. You guys don't know that yet. I'm gonna shoot a video, I promise. The ones with lots of color, male. The ones without, female. When they turn yellow in the body, that's also a female. Alrighty. Oh, we got one more. Stowaways. Rummy nose, 25 makes 50. All right, I'm gonna repack these. We go to the last box. All right, here we go. Uh-oh. These blue neon guppies are not doing so hot. At least 2 dead in the bag, at least. It's not good. Water's milky, they probably died early. Most of them are alive though. Maybe it's only the 2 dead, but they can foul the water, so obviously we'll get them out of that water real soon here. Ooh, Luminotus rainbows. Used to be known as the Paskai rainbow. They're a nice orange color with blue eyes. They're really nice. Jimmy fell in love with them for a long time. I'm sure he's got ultra cool B-roll of them because he had them in his bedroom. Sunset honey grammies. Obviously in the Grammy family, but very docile. Docile? Docile. There we go. And great color. So if you're missing that kind of yellow pop, which is hard to get in aquariums, they do pretty well. We find that they don't prey on shrimp and stuff as bad as bettas do and that kind of stuff, but they will hunt a bit. So you gotta keep them well fed if you're keeping with shrimp. Scarlet badasses. Great little nano fish, can be finicky when it comes to eating. I'll just stop the internet right now. No, we don't have females for sale. Like, they're just they're never available. Rasbora SPI. I don't know, that one looks pretty big for an SPI. Maybe it's just got those growth hormones. More Rasbora SPI, also known as the pork chop Rasbora, I believe. That's it for that. Oh, wait, where are these from? Are these American or are these non-American? They are not. They're from Brazil or Peru. All right, makes sense. Half the internet is also saying, it's this language, don't you know? And then I respond, I don't. I actually only know English, so. Ow. This is the last. Let's take a moment of silence. All right. Ooh, giant blue wood shrimp, also known as the armored shrimp. Looking good. They put that little fake plastic plant in there for them to hold on to. Shrimp, whenever you get them, whether they're shipped, whether they're from a store, should have something to hold on to on the ride home, otherwise it stresses them out. 50 little neon tetras. I wonder what that little sign means right there. Ooh, I don't know. Next up, we've got Corridor axelrodi. These guys look cool because they've got the stripes on them. If I can get the bag to show them. I can see them, but the camera can't. You have to take my word for it, unless we've got the B-roll. Next up, albino haplocats. That's super cool. I don't know if we've ever had these. These were a contender, well, the flagtail haplocatfish were a contender for the 800-gallon goldfish. These albinos just became a contender because those look sweet. Wow, they're really light colored. I don't know, I want to see them in a tank, not stressed out in a bag, but I like that look. More axelrodi. And the last but not least, neon tetras. Staple in the hobby. Everyone needs a tank with 100 of these. It's always a good look. All right, well, I gotta skedoodle and get to the live stream because Thursday nights, 4 p.m., live stream time, even on Halloween. And make sure you subscribe, you like, you share it, you make your grandma watch it, and we'll see you in the next one.